Peace be upon everyone. Welcome back to Vajrayogini diaries and the further questions of Namkha. Let's see how we get on, if we can manage to finish them this time round. It is helping to have less unrealistic expectations so that life and practice seem to become less separate things. It's great, very important. If we look at the nature of our expectations, they are grounded in a state of ignorance. All expectations come from the ego and the limited sense of the human being's ability to know what life is, and the conditioning in which we brought up, that we then project ideas of what should happen. Expectations don't really fit with reality, and they're a cause of a lot of suffering, if we check. At the end of practice is when we're living harmoniously. Before we meet the Dharma, we have to keep reflecting on this, that we were confused. When we look at the nature of the confused mind, and that's all the delusional states, which, and this is one of the big things, isn't it? Feels natural. Moving, what feels natural means moving in the lower self, say the animal self, and what is quickly, easily obtained, pleasure that's easily obtained, eating, drinking, sex. We don't have to work at these things to get the pleasure that comes from moving with those desires. But practice is the higher self, and the pleasure that comes through knowledge, wisdom, patience, giving, discipline. These are higher pleasures that require more of an effort in the beginning. The pull of the lower self is very strong because we know it very well from when we're a child. It's the first thing we learn, really, isn't it? As we're in our animal body, animal self, survival self. And our human self is higher than the survival sense of self, where it's just about me and what I want to do and what I'm going to get. So it seems like practice is an effort, and the effort is how much we need to pull up from the lower self, and understanding what the lower self is, what delusions are, and how they fit in with the higher self. And that may take a lot of time. And we have moments when we're flowing harmoniously with the higher self and the lower self, and this is very beautiful when it starts to happen. I feel like the tantric seeds are having an effect that I can't place. It feels like there is a slight despondency, though, that the path of Tantra, of love, might be opposite to my type. I don't really know what to do with that. The intellect, of course, is very important. Has its place. It's the Sufi way is not the path of blind belief. It's the path of knowledge, wisdom. One of the great things we want to realize with the intellect is that the intellect can't know everything. The sort of materialistic humanity thinks that the human mind is all, right? If we use our intellect, we'll understand that the intellect itself is limited. We can look further at this on further courses and further study. For now, we can intellectually understand that statement. When it's an existential realization that the human mind is completely limited, then we're moving into the path of wisdom and love. Now, there's been some interesting results when we go into the Enneagram and types. So I generally find that people use the Enneagram as a spiritual way of backbiting. So instead of just saying that person's selfish or criticizing them for, oh, that person does this, that person does that, we say, oh, it's their type, I'm typing them, I'm figuring them out. But generally it's just a way of backbiting. Like of the classic thing that we do of labeling and categorizing people. Oh, no, they're not really kind. They're a 2, they're not really kind. It's backbiting. But you think you're being spiritual and doing it because you've got like a spiritual mirror. And then we do it with ourselves. Oh, I'm a 7, I just kind of like fun things, or I'm not really good at going into intellectual stuff. Then change. That's the whole point of it. It's not to solidify your sense of self. That's the opposite of what the Enneagram's doing. The Enneagram is mirroring your blind spots where you're not changing, to make you see without someone else, literally like a sheikh or a lama, forcefully telling you you're lazy, forcefully telling you you're selfish, or if you're a 7, forcefully telling you you need to sit still, stop going about chasing after fun. It's not yourself, it's your main blind spot that's preventing you being yourself. What we're wanting to decipher is what we're good at. You know, do I like studying? Then study. Do I like being with people? Then be with people. Love is for everybody. Love is our nature. Love, when it's put into the Buddhist paradigm, is the wish to be happy and the wish to be free from suffering. We wanting to draw near to what we like and move away from what we don't love. This is the fundamental aspect of every single living being. So a lot of the times we can interpret what we think the path of love is the conditional way in which we sociologically react. You know, the paradigms of how people are, like giving people lots of hugs, we might interpret as someone being loving, and I'm not like that. What's that got to do with it? You know, you check something like that. A loving parent's not someone who hugs you all the time. A loving parent is someone who provides you with education, food on the table, and cares for your welfare. How you go about providing for your child and their welfare, yeah, that can be your type. You might go about it in a kind of quiet, stoic way. You may go about it in a very different way from that. The path of Tantra is to see the world as divine. Now, if you're intellectual, if you're a body type, you're a heart type, it's irrelevant. This is the path, to perceive, to understand that this world is divine and that you are an aspect of the divine. And all your type is the manifestation of that divinity and part of its attributes. So we can just point out to be careful not to get caught up in over-analyzing your kind of natural tendencies and states of joy and ways of being in practice, looking for some kind of perfect intellectual model that I'm on the path of love, therefore I do this and that. Or, I'm on the path of the intellect, therefore I sit and do this and that. And then that's constraining innate kind of joy and joie de vivre on the spiritual path. Yeah. So like we use in the Enneagram, it's like a kind of net that keeps us down, and again it binds our conceptions of who we think we are, rather than being a mirror that is held up to make us see where we're blocking our love, blocking our intellect, blocking our wisdom. Yeah. Look, use it to see how we block the path as we're studying it, and what it means to allow those qualities to unfold in your life. Now we wanted things to unfold in a creative, fresh, beautiful way. And the Enneagram's this strong mirror to see if we're actually just like when we're being selfish, when we're deceiving ourselves, when we're actually just got hidden envy, and just being honest with that, not letting it cripple us, just being aware of it, recognizing our limitations. Then we do purification practice, do astaghfirullah, whatever way we turn back to the divine, go for refuge to purify ourselves. The trait, the habit, or the actual, maybe we engage in actual action out of jealousy that caused pain. We seek forgiveness, seek purification, and we move on. If we're too analytical of our intentions, we won't be able to move. Yeah, we won't be able to be natural. So we need this balance, and we're working at this balance of being really honest with ourselves about where we are, and just accepting that and moving into our life in that day, in that action, recognizing we can't be 100% pure all the time. And to be a practitioner of Dzogchen, as the Prophet Muhammad said, is to be aware that we've got a delusion and not give in to it. It's another way of saying we observe it. It's there, it's fine. It's only when we give in to it, the lower self, who cares about that? You just, I need a break from the spiritual path. Maybe it's all rubbish anyway, and it's like, I'll just steal that thing. We fall into the lower self continuously. As I say, when we recognize that, we genuinely turn to the divine for refuge, for forgiveness, and go, I slipped. Say the required prayers, mantra, regret it, and then move on. And you must have this confidence and this knowledge that when you do that, the action's purified. Otherwise, you'll be so tense about making a mistake that the very teaching will make your life miserable, and then you'll give up eventually, because you can't live in that state of tension. Yeah. So it's creating that beautiful balance that's needed in our life, where we are accepting of our limitations, and we're also trying to grow all the time. That balance. and enjoying when we're flowing with our higher self, and having confidence that we're forgiven when we fall. So that's the phone's turned off again, so that's probably enough. So maybe by the end of the year we'll get through Namkha's questions. Let's hope so. I hope this helps in some way, and may peace be upon you and your families, and may you continuously enjoy your practice, rising into the higher self and the love of love. Thank you.